Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome not to Moscow. I'm actually in the beautiful city of Kirov today, and I thought I'd show you a Russian typical supermarket not in Moscow. We're 1,000 kilometers from Moscow, and we've got to go and see what they have in a supermarket here in the city. I'm not exactly sure where I am in the city center, but I'm fairly sure I'm right in the center. There is lots of apartments nearby and lots of very old classic buildings. And what we want to go and see is not the perfume shop, is not the pharmacy, it's not the coffee shop right here. We don't want to go and see the fruit and veg seller. We want to go to see the most famous Russian supermarket in all of the country, Pyaterochka. And there's actually 100 of them only in Kirov, but across all of Russia there's more than 20,000 of them. So this is as typical as they come. This store is actually also open 24 hours a day. And not all of the stores are like that. Most are open 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. That's more typical. This is a 24-hour Russian supermarket. And actually it's a little bit cold outside, and they've got heating as we walk in. Now, they do actually have shopping baskets here, because this is a fairly big shop. However, the more normal way to shop is these little baskets or buggies. I'm not sure of the name of them. However, that's the more usual way to do your shopping. And I thought we'd have a wander around and go and see what a Russian typical supermarket looks like. And of course, it's almost Christmas, so they've got the tree up right now, and it's looking very nice. I want to point out a few things that are a little bit unique to this particular store, and maybe they're not normal for other countries. Of course, the fruit and vegetable section is very typical. And of course, now coming into Christmas time, mandarins are the current fruit of the season. They've also got these little miniature ones here. Look how small these are. It's more effort to peel them than it is to eat them. But the fruit and vegetables are looking very nice. Now, I haven't been in this store yet. Literally, I'm walking in pretty much for the first time, apart from just coming in and out of the entrance here. You can see all of the very typical fruits and vegetables. And Pyaterochka as a brand, with more than 20,000 of these locations across Russia, I don't think there's a single Russian person that doesn't know this brand and can vouch for this brand in the comments. They've got all the champagne ready for the holidays. Most people celebrate Christmas in January here, so it's a little bit early now, but they've got the champagne ready. Now, the first thing I want to show is the bakery. So they actually have an in-house bakery here where they prepare some of the pastries and breads. I don't think there's anybody baking back there right now. And they've got very nice donuts and pastries with different fillings. You can get the ones over here with strawberry and raspberry, and for 30 cents. They are very nice. And these are all fresh, prepared this morning. Generally, they'll do the baking a few times per day. And then if you're lucky to come in the evening, they have discount after 8 p.m. because they, of course, don't keep everything out for the whole day. And then as we come into the back of the store, the regular groceries. Now, where I live in Moscow, I actually have 5 Pyaterochkas within a 10-minute walk of my house. Maybe 15 is the furthest one away. And each one is a little bit different depending on the layout of the shop and the size of the store. So some shops will have more things on shelves, some will have less. They've also got some more holiday items prepared. These little mix boxes are always very nice, $3. And easy presents to give to friends and family. Of course, all of the normal chocolates. We can see lots of Western brands, Raffaello, Nutella, and of course, more than enough choices of chocolate. Milka is still in Russia. They have also the pay by weight candy on the other side here. So you just put in a bag as much as you like, and you pay by the gram. So if you don't want whole packages of something, you don't have to. Lots of choice of tea and coffee. So this is a Russian typical supermarket. And no matter what everybody tells me in the comments, this is as typical as it comes. They even have holiday toilet paper. Can you believe that? It's very interesting if you want it. One thing that's interesting in Pyaterochka is they've got crazy tiling on the floor. And I wonder if anybody knows why that is. Perhaps before I give you the answer, you can put it in the comments about why it is. Now, the actual reason is when you come shopping, your eyes aren't looking at the floor because your eyes are going a little bit funny with the tiling and this crazy tiling, and it makes you look at eye level at the shelves. And it takes your eyesight away from the floor, and you see all of the food on the shelves, which is a great idea. Lots of ketchup choices. Do we really need this many? I like to point out some of the things that maybe aren't normal, and I know in Australia we don't have these magnifying glasses. So you've actually got the price point checker right here, and then if you're struggling to read some of the ingredients, they've got a magnifying glass for you. How nice is that? I'm certain we don't have that in Australia. Somebody let me know. This is really like Aladdin's cave. It's like I'm walking into another world coming in the store. The children's section, and then the dairy. There's more baby food here as well. I think most people know Nestle and Heinz. Absolutely available. And then the very large yogurt section and dairy section. These drinkable yogurts I like a lot. They've actually got, where is the banana one? There should be a banana one somewhere, but strawberry is also nice as well. My wife loves these small yogurts that you can get, and plenty of things. Now, the point of me making this video here in Kirov, a lot of people ask me, Russell, you're in Moscow, everything is beautiful, everything is perfect, and then I've come 1,000 kilometers away from Moscow. I flew here by aeroplane, it's that far. You can take an overnight train, but I came by plane last night to show you a Russian typical supermarket. We've even got some cold drinks. Now, in Russia, it's not very normal to have cold drinks. In Australia, it's very much standard, and I think in America, other countries as well. But a lot of people buy their drinks at room temperature because of the fact it's cold outside. Today is about -5 Celsius, so it's definitely not necessary to have a cold drink. And all of the everyday items. Let's have a look at the price of eggs. This seems to be always a big talking point. So right about 80 cents for a box of 10 eggs. That would be the house brand. And then if you want some of the actual branded eggs from a different hatchery, about $1.40. But the house eggs for 80 cents a pack. The actual government in Russia is working really hard with the supermarket chains to reduce the prices on core food items. Things like eggs, sugar, flour, bread, and they're making or almost enforcing the supermarkets to have low prices for everybody. And there's actually a list of socially important food products that have to be cheap. And that's why the eggs are the price they are, and things like bread is very low, so that everybody, no matter your income, can afford to shop in any store in Russia. Actually, just having a look at a couple of other staple items here. Salt, depending on the size of the packaging, you're paying 30 cents for a kilo of salt. And then sugar, here is 60 cents for a bag of sugar. Now, the one thing that you'll notice a lot in Russian supermarkets is there's quite a lot of brands of products. However, there's also a lot of generic packaging as well. And the point of that is there's no branding, there's no extra cost for the box or the bag or the ink. So you're getting exactly what it is on the packet, and you're paying a lower price. If you're watching the channel for the first time, in this video, I'm actually an Australian living here in Russia, and I make videos about everyday life here in Russia. I show a lot of supermarkets, a lot of shops. My background is in retail since I was 14 years old. I finished 2 years of high school, and I've worked in shops and supermarkets since that time in my life, and all I know is retail, and that's why the channel has a lot of shop tours on it. So I hope you enjoy this video and future videos on the channel. You'll see here on the shelf all of the drinks, and in Russia people love energy drinks. I don't personally like them, however they're very popular, and a lot of the sugary drinks and fizzy drinks are all at room temperature, and there's just that one little fridge with refrigerated cold drinks. This is actually their frozen section, and there's really not that many things in there, and it's not a popular thing to buy frozen food. They have also a refrigerated area here with alcohol. They've got champagne, even vodka, and there's some beer as well here. This is actually a really nice store. I literally hadn't come in here before now, so it's interesting to come and walk around a Pyaterochka in another city to compare it to what it's like in Moscow. Got a nice wine selection, and then some other alcohols. It's all dotted around in different places, especially when I film like this where I walk and talk. I don't look ahead at what I'm seeing, so what you're seeing is exactly what I am. I'm actually a little bit jealous of this store because my local Pyaterochka isn't as big as this store and isn't as well stocked and full as this shop is. Is there a jealousy when you go to one shop versus another? We can actually see the other part of the bread section. So they do actually have packaged bread, which would come from a nearby bakery and off-site. And then there's more than enough choices. You have about 25 different types of bread. And this is just a everyday Russian typical supermarket. The very classic loaf of bread here for 40 cents. Now, in Russia, the loaf of bread is not as big as it is in America or in Australia, because people just want it for a couple of days of eating. There's no need to get whole loaves of bread. You buy enough for what you want to eat, and that's it. They've got the focaccia. I'm not sure which is the different one here. This brown bread, 60 cents. And then the different types of loaf breads. You would struggle to pay more than $1 for any bread in Russia. Here we see 60 cents. So the point again is that socially important food items, and they're kept as low as possible so that everybody can afford them no matter what your salary or income is. There is actually quite a lot of refrigerated sections in this store. Because of the layout of the shop and how big it is, they've got an expanded range of things. If you are a follower of the channel, you probably know that I went to a fish factory in St. Petersburg back last year, and the brand right here was the company that I went to see, and they've got a few of the products in this store. And fish is a very popular food item in Russia, whether it's fresh fish or packaged fish like this. It's almost a staple on the table, depending on the time of year. And of course, pickled vegetables are very popular, and they've got lots of different choices. Now, the only one I really like is mushrooms and the gherkins. My wife pretty much can eat anything you see on the shelf here. And let me know, do you like seaweed or not? They've actually got this seaweed salad here. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of that or not. Personally, I only prefer it in the way of sushi, not in the pickled version like this. There's also quite a lot of different hams and sausages and salamis. This is a very nice store. Now, I know I keep saying it, and I think I've got a little bit of jealousy for this store, but it's 1,000 kilometers from my house. That's the only downside. As I've been walking around, I was wondering where the main alcohol section is and beer section, and there's another little room off to the side here where they've got all of the different products. There's more drinks and juices. If you might remember, last year or the year before, there was a big thing on social media that all of the orange juice cartons didn't have ink. And have a look now, not a problem at all. There's more than enough ink on the packaging. And you can see here the alcohol section. Of course, vodka is hugely popular in Russia. They have it in any size bottle you like, and really any price you like as well, starting at $1 a bottle, $2 a bottle, and then even fairly normal price bottles of vodka. Stolichnia here, I think everybody knows this around the world, for $5. And they also have all of the classic spirits. They have a lot of Armagnacs as well, being that Russia is very close to Armenia. And then more wines and champagnes. And of course, beer is definitely available and in stock. So there's domestic beers, and then there's also some imported beers. You can see Corona down there. And the one thing with beer in Russia is it's sold individually. So you can just buy one bottle, or you can buy the whole shelf if you like. The beer of choice for me is Stella for $1 a bottle. And of course, right next to the beer, they've got to have the beer snacks. So you can get chips and some salted fish. Let's have a look what Lay's flavors they have. Have they got any different ones? I think they've got a champagne flavored one. Check that out. Lay's in Russia is producing limited edition ones almost monthly. They want to keep us interested and wanting to look for the new flavor all the time. The other thing I really want to show in this store, apart from the sausages on special, this is called Doctor's Sausage, by the way. I'm not sure if it's doctor recommended or not. Is if you're not a good cook like me, they've got prepared and ready-made food. And once you purchased it, you can eat it right here. There's a microwave, there's a socket to plug your phone in. You can get yourself a drink, sandwiches. And if you don't want to eat it here, of course, you can take it home. What you do, you just hide the packet very quickly before your wife gets home from work and tell her that you cooked all day. And you got very nice, inexpensive food here. You can see $1, $2 for prepared food. And you can literally have a very nice meal. I've actually even got chicken pieces there as well. You can get soup. So this prepared or ready food is quite a big deal in Russia, and it's a hugely popular thing now in all the supermarkets. You get fresh sandwiches for $1.50. Actually, the smaller one there for less than $1. This is what we want. Prepared food, and we want it fresh and tasty and ready to eat. One more thing I want to show you, and I want to know if this is normal or is it only in Russia. They've got takeaway coffee in the supermarket now. I did walk past this when I first came in. However, you can make yourself a coffee. Cups are right there, the syrups, and then basically you just pay yourself and walk on out. You don't have to go to the register. It's self-service. Actually, you can pay for your sandwiches and everything right here. Is this normal? Is it only in Russia? Let me know. There's such an honest kind of element to this, and I really love it. It's actually a couple of days later now, and I'm back in Moscow region from Kirov, and I've made the 1,000-kilometer teleportation back to my hometown. It's actually quite a lot colder than it was in Kirov today. And I've come just to have a look at my local Pyaterochka, which is 50 kilometers from Moscow, just to see if I've just walked out of the best looking Pyaterochka in Russia, and just to briefly have a look at the difference. And I need to go grab something to eat as well. This is literally a few minutes from my house. Let's go inside and have a look how they compare. One thing I will say today, now that I'm back where I live, is it's very cold, and blue skies in December generally mean it's cold weather. We need some cloud cover and snow. The one thing I will say that's different about my local shop is it's not 24 hours a day open. It's 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. And let's go on inside and get warm, because I'm absolutely freezing. And let's see what we can find. The one thing I will say when I walk into my local shop is I feel much more at home, because I know the layout of the store, because I've been here hundreds of times. And this is as typical of a Russian supermarket as you can get. There is more than 20,000 of these in Russia. And my local one has this little handy kiosk here where you can make your own coffee, just like we saw back in the shop in Kirov. And then there's actually a little seating area as well. Now, it's only for a couple of people, but I can plug my phone into charge while I'm here, and literally you can buy the coffee, pay for it right here, and sit here and enjoy the sun. We won't see much of it in the coming weeks. There is also my favorite bakery part right here, very conveniently, with my favorite garlic bread. Now, because I'm here reasonably early, you generally get the fresh bread as well, straight from the bakery. You can actually see back there the trays of fresh bread. This particular store is also much more normal looking, if that's the right word, with the traditional aisles and no walls and kind of hidden corners. The thing with everybody's local shop is once you know the layout, it's easy to find your way around and know where certain things are. However, my local shop looks very nice as well. This particular store doesn't have the interesting tiles on the floor, so your eyes aren't forced to look at all the merchandise, which is a great way to do it actually. There's a very big dairy section in this local shop as well. So I think it doesn't matter how far you go from Moscow, a Russian typical supermarket looks all the same. Everybody keeps commenting to me, travel 3,000 kilometers from Moscow and show me what the local shop looks like. Whereas I can walk from my house here and they look awfully similar. As I head out of my local Pyaterochka, I really hope you found this video interesting. Now, the few days that I spent in Kirov was very hectic, And I normally like to film my endings of videos at the same place where I'm recording, but I just didn't have the time. I had quite a few different things that I wanted to see and make videos about, so I thought I'd come back to my local shop and just walk in, show you what it looks like, and make a little bit of a comparison. And I've only got a few minutes walk to get home from here. So yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, post a comment, let me know what your typical supermarket looks like compared to the ones here in Russia. And the main point of the video was to go to see one 1,000 kilometers from Moscow to make that comparison of the shops in Moscow, because I keep getting told over and over it's not correct that you're showing only Moscow supermarkets. But I live here in Moscow. This area where I am now is actually Moscow region. I'm 50 kilometers from the center of Moscow. Train station's right behind me there. We can be in Moscow in about 45 minutes by train. By car, it's probably about an hour, depending on traffic. So I hope this was a good comparison video almost. And how does it compare to your local shop? Let me know as I keep asking. I love reading comments. I do try to reply to every one of them. So I'll keep doing that if I can. If you'd like to follow me on Telegram, there's a link right here, somewhere here. Then if you want to see an old video on the channel, I'll put another video for you to watch right now, something different, and you can keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.